You already know it's a bad idea. Not maybe. Not it depends. You've seen the forums. You've seen the memes. You've seen the comments that all say the same thing. Don't do it. And yet, you're still here. Still watching RX-8 videos at 2 a.m. Still browsing listings. Still telling yourself, I'll just get a clean one. Because deep down, this doesn't feel like a mistake. It feels like a calculated risk. And that's exactly how it starts.
The car that shouldn't exist. The Mazda RX-8 doesn't make sense. Even when it came out, it didn't make sense. Early 2000s, the world was moving toward bigger engines, more torque, more practicality. SUVs were taking over. Reliability was king. And then Mazda did the exact opposite. They built a lightweight, high-revving, rotary-powered sports car with suicide doors. A car that prioritized balance over power, feel over numbers, experience over logic. And somehow, it worked. On paper, the RX-8 wasn't impressive. It wasn't fast in a straight line. It didn't have crazy horsepower. It didn't dominate spec sheets. But drive it and everything changes. Perfect weight distribution, sharp steering, an engine that screams all the way to 9,000 RPM. It felt different. And that was the problem, because different doesn't always mean sustainable.
Let's get this out of the way. The engine, because this is where the warnings come from. The RX-8 uses a rotary engine, not a piston engine like literally every other car you've owned. No pistons, no traditional combustion cycle, just spinning triangles doing things most people don't fully understand. And in theory, it's genius. Fewer moving parts, smoother power delivery, higher revving capability. But in reality, it comes with a cost. And if you don't understand that cost, this car will humble you fast. By 2026, we know exactly what owning one looks like. Cold start issues, flooding if you shut it off too early, coil packs that fail more often than they should, oil consumption that isn't a problem, it's a requirement. You don't check oil on an RX-8, you manage it. And then there's the big one, engine rebuilds. Because eventually, it's not a question of if, it's when. A proper rebuild in 2026, you're looking at anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000 depending on who does it and how deep you go. That's more than what some people pay for the entire car. And that's why people warn you, because this isn't just a car, it's a commitment.
Here's where things get interesting, because in 2026, the RX-8 is in a weird place. It's cheap, suspiciously cheap. You can find one for the price of a used Corolla, and that's exactly why people fall into the trap. It looks like a bargain, a real sports car, rear-wheel drive, unique engine for under $10K. But what you're actually buying isn't the car. You're buying the previous owner. And with RX-8s, that matters more than almost anything else. Because by now, most of these cars have been driven hard, maintained inconsistently, or worse, neglected completely. And that's where the reputation comes from, not just the design, but the life cycle. The RX-8 isn't unreliable in the way people think. It's unforgiving. If you maintain it properly, it can be solid. If you treat it like a normal car, it will punish you. And most owners treat it like a normal car.
Here's the part that doesn't show up in spec sheets. When the RX-8 works, it's incredible. Not good for the price, not fun for what it is, actually incredible. The way it revs, the way it handles, the way it feels like it wants to be driven hard all the time. It makes you feel like a better driver than you actually are. And that feeling? That's addictive. Modern cars don't feel like this anymore. The RX-8 feels raw. Not in a loud, aggressive way, but in a precise, connected, almost analog way. And once you experience that, you start to understand why people put up with everything else.
The type of person who buys one. This is where it stops being about the car and starts being about you. Because RX-8 owners aren't random, they're a specific type of person. The kind of person who doesn't want the obvious choice, doesn't want the safe option, doesn't want the car everyone else is buying. Anyone can go buy a Mustang, or a BRZ, or a Civic Si. That's easy. Buying an RX-8, that's a statement. It says, I know what I'm getting into. I'm okay with the trade-offs. I value the experience more than the convenience. And for a lot of people, especially in their 20s and early 30s, that mindset hits hard. Because at this stage in life, you're not just buying a car, you're building an identity.
The hidden costs no one tells you.
Let's talk about what ownership actually feels like. Not just the big problems, the daily reality. Fuel economy? Bad. And with gas prices in 2026, it adds up fast. Maintenance? Frequent. Even when nothing is wrong, you're always doing something. Spark plugs, coils, oil, fluids. And then there's the mental cost. Because every weird sound, every slow start, every small issue, you're thinking, is this it? Is this the rebuild? That constant uncertainty? That's part of owning an RX-8. And it's something most people aren't prepared for.
So, why do people still buy it? After all that, after the warnings, the costs, the risks, why do people still buy it? Because logic isn't the only thing that matters. Cars like the RX-8 don't survive on practicality. They survive on emotion. It's the idea of owning something different, something misunderstood, something that most people are too scared to touch. And in a world where everything is becoming more similar, more predictable, more optimized, the RX-8 feels like the opposite. And that's exactly why it still works.
You're probably still going to want one, even after everything you just heard. Because this was never about being convinced. It was about being aware. The RX-8 isn't a car you accidentally end up with. It's a car you choose, knowing the risks, accepting the consequences, and deciding that the experience is worth it anyway. So if you're thinking about buying one, just understand what you're really getting into. Not just the car, but the lifestyle that comes with it. Because the RX-8 will either be one of the most fun cars you've ever owned, or one of the most frustrating. And sometimes it's both at the same time. So now I want to hear from you. Would you actually buy an RX-8 in 2026? Or are the warnings enough to keep you away? Drop your thoughts in the comments.